Okay, so I love being here at this wrestling match, this Royal Rumble. It's great. Okay, so every about 90 seconds, there's going to be another person coming down to the ring. And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Who is it? That is a really big guy light on his feet. Who is that?
I don't know.
Wait.
Are you looking in the program?
Wait a minit.
That is Fatness Everdeen.
Wait.
What?
I recognize those tits.
Oh my God.
It's Scoob.
Hey, what's up, motherfucker? Why does he have a chair?
Free Rotation Podcast.
What's up, Free Rotation Nation, and welcome to the Free Rotation Podcast. We're here with my usual group of suspects, the Molly Holly to my Braun Strowman, Becky.
Okay.
I do not understand any of these references for
I
the
like
next
it.
hour. So, bye.
The Page to my Braun Strowman, Angie.
Okay.
Hello. I don't know what that means either, but I'm in.
Do a British accent and then sleep with a black guy.
Hello. Oh, that's a mighty big cock you've got.
Oh my, that's a large little cock, isn't it?
Ew, do you serve crumpets with that cock?
Pages is a little more annoying. but
And
okay.
and the Shockmaster to my Braun Strowman, Moreland.
Ooh, Shockmaster.
You know what they say too.
You don't? Do you not know who I'm talking about?
No.
Oh, you're gonna fucking love that. I just shit on you and you don't know it yet.
I don't care.
For those of you who have watched 80s wrestling, you're going to appreciate that, and I'll explain it. So obviously we're going to talk about wrestling tonight.
Are we?
We are. Not wrestling with
Like
regret.
Greco-Roman wrestling in the
well,
Olympics?
No.
Well, we will talk about Kurt Angle. I mean, so yes.
Mhm.
But no, professional wrestling. The fake sport.
Is that one of your favorite fandoms, Scoob?
It is. It's comic books and wrestling. You know, I love my men in spandex. You know, it's how that works.
Yeah.
It's-
Oh, you're
it-
still wearing spandex, by the way.
I don't give a
Hey,
shit.
what happened with that chair?
I don't remember. Why? Because he hit me in the head with a fucking chair.
They're not supposed to hit in the head anymore. Remember concussion
It
clauses?
wasn't the WWE. There's no concussion protocols. I got a hot dog and a handshake. Fuck off.
With great power comes great concussions.
Right?
No, didn't put my hands up comes I need an ibuprofen.
That's true.
So, like I said, I'm a huge fan of pro wrestling. I've been watching professional wrestling since what would be considered the Attitude Era. Stone Cold, The
Yes.
Rock, Triple H when he was Hunter Hearst Helmsley. Way back then. Angie, I know you were watching it around when Dusty Rhodes and
Mhm.
Junkyard Dog
Yes.
and Hogan was
Mhm.
over more than he is now. Becky asked me what she should watch to study for this, and I'm like, just listen to me talk, because there's way too much
Yeah,
to digest.
this is-
There's a lot.
There's
This-
gonna be one of them episodes where it's like, where'd
This-
Becky go? She's here, just not here.
This for me is this is the Studio Ghibli from you to me. Like
Yeah.
this is because I've known
Basically.
just enough to get there and not actually help in any way. And then Moreland, I know you're a good wrestling fan, so
Yes.
you're somewhat helpful.
I mean,
You're gonna be so pissed when I explain Shockmaster to you.
I
It
know.
makes my dick hard.
I mean, is that the guy with the diamond helmet?
That is the guy with the
I know who you're
glittery
talking about now.
glittery fucking Star Trooper
I know who
Star
you're
Trooper
talking about
helmet.
now, and I'm not. I
that
don't
tripped
even
over
care.
to make his entrance with this big huge thing. He was Earthquake he was Tugboat in WWE.
Mhm.
He was supposed to just walk through this wall, and he was the Shockmaster. And he literally just had like a
tripped through the
shitty
wall.
Ric Flair cape with the sleeves cut off and a Stormtrooper helmet painted glittery silver. And he went through the wall and didn't see a piece of wood and tripped and just ate shit and the helmet came off. So he's scrambling, trying to find his helmet. And the British Bulldog, you can hear on camera.
Oh, the British.
You can hear on camera. He goes, "Oh, he fell on his arse."
It was
Fucking amazing. It's fucking great.
It is.
A good way to identify when we started watching wrestling was which WW or NCW we started watching in. So I started in WWF.
WWF.
I
the
picked
Attitude
up
Era.
right around the WWF, right
Right
around.
into the NCW.
No, right.
No, the
when-
NWO.
No, that's a faction. That's
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's a
Yeah.
faction of WCW or from WCW.
yeah. That
Mhm.
actually it's from Japan
but
because Japanese stuff is usually ripped off a lot.
well, I mean,
Yeah, you're right. But no, I was watching right around the time when it transitioned from the new generation with Bret Hart to when Stone Cold came up and became
Yeah.
the superstar that he is. I seem to remember this, sir.
The only thing I want Roman Reigns to win the title for is so he can be done with it. Done with him and Brock Lesnar.
So they can stop forcing the very wet Samoan man down our throats?
Yes. That's the only reason. And my ex.
Becky looks like... And your ex?
Yeah.
Oh.
Because she, anytime I would send her anything to do with Roman Reigns, she sent me other things.
Wait. You used Roman Reigns to get fucking tit pics?
Mm-hmm.
All right. All right. Sure.
I don't know who Roman Reigns is, but I'm gonna send one to Becky right now.
He's
She had a
does
thing.
she if she likes Samoan men, you're okay.
Yeah, so...
But she doesn't like men, so
That's a no for me, dog.
Actually,
no.
one of his nicknames is the Big Dog. So there you
Okay, we're done.
go. So you inadvertently were correct.
Okay,
Yes.
so you want to kind of explain to me the differences between all of these wrestling things you keep saying, these
Acronyms.
acronyms, please?
So what, WWF,
So
WCW?
WW,
Yeah,
WW,
because I'm sure that we have a lot of listeners who have no fucking clue what you're talking
the
about either.
WWF is what is now the WWE. It was the
It
World
was World
Wrestling,
Wrestling Federation.
but they lost to a lawsuit to the World Wildlife Fund, so they had to drop the F. So right around 2000 and something, they had a thing that said "Get the F out." The joke was because they dropped the F, it became World Wrestling Entertainment. So it's the WWE.
Oh, I got you.
E.
WCW is World Championship Wrestling. It is what happened when Ted Turner, for those of us who grew up in the Atlanta area, when he bought Jim Crockett Promotions.
And this is when you lost their wrestling announcers. Remember
Gordon Soley
Yeah,
and-
they were, and the woman, I can't ever remember her name.
Oh God, I can't either.
But they were personalities in and to themselves.
Yeah, I mean,
Left.
and that was WCW World Championship Wrestling. It was
You
kind of like,
still have announcers, but not them.
Yeah.
yeah, and now that Jim Ross is retired, it's kind of like, what's the point
Yeah.
now?
And Jerry Lawler.
I never really liked Jerry Lawler.
I love Jerry.
Jerry.
I love Jerry during the Attitude Era because puppies.
And do you remember how the WWF went off? I need a hero.
Oh yeah, for a while there they
always
needed
went off
the.
Yep.
Well, it was the 90s, so right around 93, a company very near and dear to my heart, even though I've never been anywhere near Philadelphia,
Right.
ECW started, Extreme Championship Wrestling. Rachel, shout out because she is from Philly. ECW had the whole violent, barbed wire, chair shots, going through tables, the stuff that
Lighting the tables on fire and then going through the tables.
with thumbtacks.
Yes.
That kind of pioneered what became the Attitude Era with Hell in the Cell, with Stone Cold drinking a beer after a match and, things like that.
After the match.
Remember the
before
time
the
you
match,
drove
during the
in
match.
the beer truck?
Yes.
Yes, the beer bath.
Beer
The
bath.
next year? Wasn't it a year later Kurt Angle did it with the
was-
milk truck?
Yeah, it was a year or two later. Kurt Angle comes
Did
out
it with the
milk
during the
truck.
invasion, because that's a fucking botch.
Right.
By the way, I will be using terms and explaining them. A botch is when a planned sequence of things does not occur correctly. Like for those of you who do watch wrestling, if you watch the Greatest Royal Rumble, which is the largest wrestling event I think ever to take place in Saudi Arabia, in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia this year, a botch that everyone will see, and you'll definitely see it a lot on Facebook, is Titus O'Neil. No one cares about Titus O'Neil, so it's fine.
Exactly.
He actually was running down the ramp to get in the ring, and he tripped and went completely under the ring. All you saw was toes and fucking pink slip. It was amazing.
No, you didn't even see toes. He was
He did.
gone.
He completely hornswoggled it. He completely went under. All
Completely
right.
under the ring, and then he gets up. He gets up, gets back in the ring, and starts beating on people.
But you fucked up
And-
because you disappeared.
And the commentators, over the entire thing, they're laughing. They showed replays of it 6 times. 6 times
because they've adopted a more non kayfabe, which kayfabe was you kept it so people thought it was real. The villains always
Which the WWF really tried to keep.
they
that
did,
image.
but Shawn Michaels fucked it up with the Clique, which is a backstage group of him, Scott Hall, Kevin Nash,
Triple
H, and 1-2-3 Kid. They fucked it up because they had what's called the Madison Square Garden incident. Scott Hall and Kevin Nash were leaving for WCW to start the NWO with Hulk Hogan, which, by the way, greatest heel turn I've ever seen.
I love it. Yeah.
Fantastic.
well, they were hugged each other, and they did the house show. At house show, people are like, no one's watching. It's not TV. Well, someone stuck a camera in and got it on video. So I don't know if you know this, Moreland, but Triple H was supposed to win King of the Ring that year.
Yep.
And become the game much sooner than he
Yeah,
did.
he was supposed to be
the
guy.
Yeah, but his punishment was actually, because of that, he had to basically wait a year, just eat a shit sandwich. He just had nothing.
No, he ate so much shit that year.
And then he married Vince's daughter in real life, and now he fucking owns half the company. But he's building NXT to be what NXT is, so I forgive him.
Right, because NXT is freaking amazing.
But one thing about the New World Order, you were saying, brought it up. I don't even know if you guys were alive or really old enough to understand, but when Hulk Hogan first started, Ric Flair and Hulk Hogan first started the NWO, and everybody started moving towards that, it was almost like satanic panic because it was New World Order. You had a lot of backlash with the
You
fans.
did. Oh, I remember.
because
I was watching.
It's the New World Order.
Yeah,
I was
no,
watching. I was
no,
watching
I was
the
watching
pay per view.
Revelations.
I was watching
Yeah.
Bash of the Beach
We
90s.
were alive.
Was it 96?
Yes.
I was watching the Bash at the Beach where it's the Outsiders versus Sting, the Macho Man, and I think it was Lex Luger.
I
forget the third man, but the 6-man tag. And everybody's got their shit kicked in. Scott Hall, Kevin Nash, they're there. And they've bailed out of the ring because here comes Hulk Hogan. You're like, oh, the red, white, and blue, and I'm a real American.
All American Hulk
And
Hogan.
then he goes in the corner, and Macho Man's down, and he drops that fucking leg. I think it came out where the only people who knew that turn was going to happen were Hall, Nash, Hogan, and Bischoff at the time.
Because you could
Yes.
tell Miss Elizabeth and Randy didn't know.
Oh
Yeah.
no!
Miss Elizabeth
nobody.
was devastated.
Well, no.
Literally no
Watch.
one knew.
Go on
Yeah.
YouTube right now and watch that interview that Gene Okerlund does after the match. Look at the trash being thrown in.
Oh, there's
Yeah.
And here's the thing:
all the garbage.
To me, I was not what's called a smark, which is wrestling started as a carny thing. You know, you find what's called a mark, someone you're going to take money from, or get to believe that your shit's real, so you take money. So you have what's called a plant, someone that works for the carnival to put in the thing. Like, for those of you who saw the actual Royal Rumble, the 10-year-old kid that Braun Strowman has a tag team partner
Yes.
was the referee's kid for that match.
Yes.
So you...
But it is in WWE records.
Oh, is it canon?
It is
canon that Nicholas, the kid with no last name,
is
a world tag team champion of
world's-
one time with Braun Strowman. All right.
Yep. Less than 24 hours, but
I'll
yes.
fucking take it.
Right.
He had to abdicate because he had scheduling conflict, like 4th grade.
He's still
No,
still
that's
in
really
4th
what
grade.
they said on live TV.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's still in 4th grade.
Yeah.
After they shit on TNA.
No, that was last week. Did you not see last week with or was it the same week that Kevin
It was-
Owens
it
and
was the
Sami
same
Zayn?
week.
Yeah.
It was the same week.
Anyway. But yeah, so you get the
Because-
plant, and he would come up, and he would be like, "Oh, this guy's hurting me," and people are like, "You can kick his ass." And that's the thing, like, for wrestlers, for stuff that's predetermined, and you know who wins, you know who loses, and it's a work, they're cooperating. As someone who's wrestled on a trampoline, and I think every adult male and some females with a trampoline that grew up, you did the WWE. That's what you did.
Yes.
I've had more than one bloody nose from fucking.
I hit so many people with rock bottoms. It was.
I've been put in figure 4 leg locks
yeah,
by my brothers and
but
sisters.
those are
like,
but, and
it
those
was
are those are
legit stuff.
legitimate painful maneuvers.
No, they are. It can't break anything, but you'll wish it had.
Oh,
I mean, it can hyperextend some shit
yeah.
easy.
Oh
Yep.
yeah.
No, there's that. And so when people used to give me shit, oh, it's fake and all this, I'm like, and then I realized, okay, it is predetermined, but it's not necessarily the fake.
I'm sorry, you can't fake getting hit in the back with a chair. You can't.
You can do it correctly where it
Like
doesn't
the
hurt.
outcome may be predetermined, and maybe some of the blows, because we've all seen the kicks that fall a little too short, and the person
Oh.
falls
Oh yeah,
back.
the thigh slap.
I
Yeah.
was
Shout
about
out
say,
to the Young
Yeah.
Bucks. Follow us.
right.
Super kick.
I mean, if you watch WrestleMania and you watch Undertaker versus John
Oh,
Cena,
yeah.
All the 2 minutes of it.
yeah, the entire
I haven't
2
seen it yet.
minutes- Cena or Undertaker goes for a big boot. Cena drops way before.
Oh, does he
you
miss
can-
by a fucking mile and a half?
No,
Oh,
it's
Jesus.
pretty. It misses by like this
It,
much.
it,
Jesus.
it super whiffs.
It-
It's terrible.
But getting hit like that is still painful. I don't
I
care
mean,
who you
imagine
are.
I kick you in the face.
Well, look at all the people who have died or gotten injured because they landed wrong. Like the Japanese wrestler that landed wrong from a suplex
I wanna say
and
Hayabusa.
died.
I want to say Hayabusa, but that was a different one. He went.
The
That wasn't
No,
that one.
He was the one who came off the rope, right?
Yeah, he came off the rope. He went to springboard off the middle one, and the rope didn't take, so he landed
Yeah.
like on the. He landed
Yeah.
on the top of his head. Okay, so imagine like you're laying down in bed. Now lean your head up, and land on the top of your head in a horizontal position. Your neck just fucking destroyed.
Yeah.
or
Darren Drozdov, who took a fucking power bomb, and it was like, or whatever it was. It was like a flapjack. So it shouldn't. He should be able to disperse it, paralyzed from the waist or from the neck down.
And who was it who dropped from the ceiling because the rope broke?
That was Owen Hart.
That was Owen
That's what
Hart.
led a lot of people to, look at the WWE like a kind of an evil corporation, because the show kept going.
Oh yeah, they didn't.
And
stop.
there was a lawsuit by I think it was his widow, and I forget her name for the life of me. But there was a lawsuit by Owen's widow. Why did you have the show go
Macho
on?
Man get injured in the ring once? Because I remember Miss Elizabeth.
Well,
Oh,
injuries in the ring
I
happen.
was about to say,
Yeah.
injuries in the ring happen all the time.
yeah, so it's not
So-
all fake because people really can get hurt.
Oh
from
yeah,
it.
I mean, for the
Oh,
longest
like-
time, they had that,
Yeah.
that beginning, like, these are trained professionals, don't try this at home.
Like the
da-da-da-da.
WWF used to try and pretend it was real, like Scoop said.
Yeah.
They wanted you to.
Kayfabe, yeah.
Yeah.
But then, people like, oh, I'm going to do this to my, 6-month-old baby brother, and then, okay, that doesn't end well.
Yeah. I was about to say, if you watch NXT, Drew McIntyre's match with Andrade
Yeah, he
Cien
tears his labrum?
Yeah.
No, that was Balor.
His tricep.
Tricep, yeah. I mean, these guys are actually getting hurt, and these are
And they're
professionals.
bloody. They're bloody. I can remember Hulk Hogan many a times getting
Oh,
like
they- yeah.
bleeding from
I
the
mean,
face.
well,
They-
you can
they-
see
they
that's
stopped a lot of
blading.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they don't
stopped
let.
a
Yeah,
lot
they
of
don't let them bleed anymore. No, they only let them bleed if the point is that they're not, because we know they're not supposed to bleed. So you'll see two things happen when they bleed. Either A, they don't do anything, which means okay, they let them bleed for this because it makes sense from a story perspective, or B, the ref will come out and they'll start doing weird camera angles to avoid the blood.
Yeah, to avoid it, and while they work on the person to get them to like
when
a boxer
you
gets
put
busted
the
open.
Like
They-
I think
yeah.
it was last year's SummerSlam when Brock Lesnar opened up Randy Orton hard way, which means he didn't cut it with a blade and make him bleed a little bit.
He literally-
legitimately elbowed him in the fucking head with the tip of his elbow. But that was predetermined between the two of them. And Jericho said he got in Lesnar. Jericho and Lesnar both confirmed Jericho got in Lesnar's face, and it was like fuck you. And it's like no, this is what the plan was.
Yeah, like when at WrestleMania, Reigns got busted open.
Yeah, and that was not supposed to happen. I don't think.
It was, but it wasn't supposed to be as bad as it was. I've heard-
Roman Reigns fucking something up. Imagine that.
right? I mean, he did at the Greatest Royal Rumble too. Did you hear about that?
No.
Well, I mean, he fucked up his chance to win the actual.
Oh,
Universal
that I
title.
don't care.
Well, he spears.
Oh, no. Well, no.
He spears Brock Lesnar out of the ring.
But because Brock hit first because he was the victim of the spear, Brock hit the ground first.
Right.
So per rules of the cage match, he wins.
Technically, yes, but no, because it's supposed to be your feet have to touch the ground. Brock's
his
feet never
didn't-
touched the ground. Brock's feet were still elevated in the air by the cage.
Well, they probably also
and
called
Roman
it-
Reigns rolls off.
They probably also called it because it was just no one wants to see Lesnar Reigns anymore. I'm sorry.
I didn't want to see it. I literally was playing Hearthstone while I was watching it.
Is this like one of those great rivalries that are just gone on too long?
No, this
No.
is they've been trying to. Okay, so they've been trying to make Roman Reigns be the guy, the next Stone Cold, the next guy we cheer for. But they've been doing it for 3 years at this point, and no one gives it. He gets more boos than he gets attention.
The only time anybody has ever liked Roman Reigns was when he was part of a group called The Shield.
Which he had another guy named Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins, who are amazing wrestlers, with him.
And he was just the powerhouse.
He was just the big, strong Samoan guy because in professional wrestling, I think I touched on this on another episode. In professional wrestling, if you're Samoan, you're usually a member in some extended way of the same family, the Anoa'i family, which includes High Chief Peter Maivia, The Rock, The Rock's father, The Rock's grandfather, who is High Chief Peter Maivia, the Usos, Rikishi, Umaga, and Nia Jax, yeah, Jimmy Snuka.
Yeah.
But the Samoans,
Tamina?
yeah, she's Snuka's legitimate daughter.
Yeah.
Because Samoans are known for being legitimately terrifyingly tough.
Yeah.
I mean, if you manage to hurt a Samoan, you either don't need to be in the ring or something went terribly wrong.
Oh, just watch any match with Samoa Joe in it, and
He's not an Anoa'i though.
I don't care. He's
Oh.
still a freaking Samoan. Just watch him walk down to the ring. That man is terrifying.
And he's not a muscle guy. That's the thing that Vince has a problem with. For the longest
he loves
time,
the big,
people
muscly
he likes
guys.
the big, oily, muscly guys that sell a lot of baby oil and look good as a bodybuilder. But now he's moving into smaller guys like AJ
You
Styles.
get more athleticism.
Yeah, you get more
flips and dips.
Yeah,
and-
you get well
But you also
as
get
Jim
a lot more
Cornette
watches.
as his Lord and Savior Jim Cornette calls it, the flippy shit.
Yeah.
No, he does because
it's-
if you
it's
want
called
if
the
you
flippy
if
shit.
you appreciate flippy stuff, watch Will Ospreay versus Ricochet. You will see a bunch of flips and they fucking land in the Superman pose and it's not even cute unless you like flippy stuff.
Like
I do.
I've never seen anything of Ricochet until I saw his first match in NXT.
Oh, you didn't see shit. You saw him wrestle.
I don't care. It was freaking awesome.
You saw him wrestle WWE style. You didn't see him wrestle PWG style. You didn't see him wrestle Ricochet style.
I need to look up Ricochet.
Watch Ricochet versus Will Ospreay and watch the shit. Here's speaking of botches. This was at New Japan's last big show in the States. Will Ospreay literally almost broke his neck and killed himself in the ring
Oh yeah.
because he went for, it's called a Spanish fly or an exploder. What you do is you get your opponent in the T-bone in the rock bottom position. For those of you who are familiar with the rock bottom, and you do a backflip and he goes with you, so it's like a backflip rock bottom. He went for that, but he fucked up and like chickened out and stutter stepped, and he landed. So imagine you're standing up straight, put your neck, put it so your right or left ear is on your right or left shoulder. Now imagine doing that. Your body's upside down, your body weight's landing up on top of it, and your body's in a complete vertical position.
So
Yeah.
he got super lucky that
He missed killing himself and breaking his neck by
He-
probably a quarter inch,
He
if
was
that.
he was busted open.
Not even a little, just a
he-
little.
Yeah, he was busted open, not a lot. Just,
Probably rung
just
his
a-
bell too.
Yeah, he was a little dazed. He didn't hurt. Interviews afterwards, he said he didn't hurt or anything after that. It was like the next morning
When the pain set in.
When the pain set in, he hurt. But he went to the doctor. Doctor confirmed everything was fine. He went the next day, and then he went the next day, and then he went the next day, just to make sure.
Well, see, this is the thing. Like with indie wrestlers, and I made that comment about a hot dog and a handshake. The reason I made that is, as a starting out indie wrestler, before anything like NXT, when you're just wrestling in, local
The
shows,
indies.
you might make $25. You might just get a handshake from a promoter and a free hot dog.
Yes.
You're not guaranteed money. You're not guaranteed to be
So
a Stone
think of
Cold.
Spider-Man.
Yeah, exactly.
Basically.
If you start out basically like Spider-Man did in the movie, in the Tobey Maguire movie, and that might be your whole thing. And there are people who get saddled with a gimmick that sucks. A character.
So you
that's
never
awful.
get over.
In the 80s, for some reason, Vince McMahon had this thing where people were like wrestlers and actual other professions, like a plumber.
Yes.
Two pig farmers. I shit you not. This is real.
Yeah.
No,
The
it's
Godwins,
true, yeah.
T.L. Hopper was the plumber. The Goon, he was a hockey goon that also wrestled.
Yeah.
But why?
Vince McMahon.
Because Vince McMahon,
Okay.
I swear to God, Vince
This is
McMahon
also the man-
is deranged sometimes.
This is also the same man who signed off on a gimmick or on a storyline in which The Undertaker, who is a Wild West zombie dead man character, his brother Kane, who has the power to summon hellfire, killed a girl because they were teenage sweethearts, and Vince will retcon a character like that. So Triple H, who Kane was supposed to wrestle, went to an actual funeral home, and this is confirmed. It was a real funeral home. There's a funeral going on in the next room, and fucked a mannequin in an actual casket while Triple H was wearing a Kane mask. He didn't actually penetrate the mannequin, but he simulated necrophilia as part of a storyline. It's called the Katie Vick angle. Usually you don't talk about it because it's one of the most despised angles in wrestling history because necrophilia.
Oh, okay.
I still think
Okay.
one of the worst angles was
The sad thing is, more
The
than
right one?
yes.
No, that was called the. There was a group.
I really hate acute angles.
I'm really okay with 90-degree angles, though.
They're
you-
kind of
you-
warm.
98
Since
degrees.
you mentioned an angle based
No.
on the right, there was an angle called the Real Americans,
Oh Jesus!
which was, for those of you who are familiar with the Tea Party, and I'm not trying to be political, but this was a real wrestling gimmick. They were anti-foreigner, but one was an American collegiate wrestler named Jack Swagger, a Mexican diplomat named Alberto Del Rio, and a Swiss man named Antonio Cesaro, who is now just Cesaro.
Okay.
And they were anti-immigration.
And they.
I'm talking about their guy. The guy Zeb Coulter, played by Dutch Mantel, was like, "Yeah, build a wall, get all these filthy illegals out."
Okay.
And that's
Yeah,
a wrestling angle, Becky.
Yeah, I still think one of my least favorite was Mark Henry and
Sexual chocolate.
and Mae Young.
Oh yeah, a 400+ pound black man, former Olympic powerlifter, legitimate, sleeping with an 80+ year old woman, and she was a good lay for him. She gave birth to a hand.
She gave birth, a full-grown hand, not even a baby.
No,
hand.
no, an actual hand.
A hand.
And then years later,
You
at
know
the
what?
15th or 20th anniversary, there was Mae Young before she died with a guy in a hand costume pretending to be her son. They had canonical hand stuff.
I just want to point out that for people who have no idea what anything about wrestling is, like me, you're not selling me on it. I'll be honest with you.
Selling is a term for when your opponent hits you and you make it look like it hurts. So when I use the term if I use the term no sell, that means you just act like nothing happened. No, even if they did hit you or whatever.
Like he just did.
I'm using this in the term in which I don't think I'm going to watch wrestling anytime soon.
I think you will
Boo.
because I
Boo
know
earned.
You
know
surprisingly get into the storylines.
You do.
if you catch them
Yeah.
early enough and they're good storylines.
Yeah.
I guarantee you, if you watch Kenny Omega and you realized how much of a weeaboo he is,
Right.
you would love it. And I know you hate
Why
weeaboos.
you all keep calling me a weeaboo?
No, I know you don't like weeaboos.
Oh, that's true.
Kenny
Well,
is so
that's
Kenny is
true,
so
Abu.
Kenny is so weeb. He legitimately, his finisher is named the One Wing Angel after Sephiroth.
Oh, I remember you talking about this.
He uses the Hadouken and his well, actually now it's the V trigger. It's that knee.
Yeah.
I like him already.
Oh,
He wrestled a 9-year-old girl and a blow up doll
and lost.
both times.
I like him. I like him even more now.
I'll have to show you Kenny Omega versus the blow up doll. He does the Zangief from Street Fighter, the rolling, the jumping, spinning
Yeah.
powder. He does that to the blow up doll.
Did you see Joey Ryan and Jerry the King Lawler?
So let me talk to you about Joey Ryan.
Did you see Joey Ryan and Jerry the King Lawler?
Yeah, when you said a fireball to Joey Ryan's penis.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Let me explain to you this entire. Angie is kind of into it and playing with Quackajack, and Becky is completely
I'm
over this.
cleaning him. He had dust on him.
He is dirty.
and stuff.
Joey Ryan, his entire gimmick is a sleazy, like 80s wrestler, chest hair, baby oil, and he has a lollipop 90% of the time. And he'll rub the lollipop on his chest hair, put it back in his own mouth, or in another wrestler's mouth, or down his trunks and put it back in his. It's a bit.
It's a bit.
His joke is he's the king of dong style, which is a play on the king of strong style, which means very stiff, which means you actually hit people kind of hard. Which is the nickname of Shinsuke Nakamura, which is... Anyway. Well, the joke, it's called the YouPornplex, because YouPorn, the actual site, gives him money to travel and promote them.
Yes.
So...
Which was an issue at one point.
Yes, because people didn't
he
want
was
porn,
promoted
legit
by
porn with their
YouPorn.
wrestling.
Yeah.
It was just the Dickplex before, right?
No, it was called the Dongplex, and then it was the YouPornplex because he got sponsorship. Yeah. So the YouPornplex is as follows: Joey Ryan will be like, "Grab my dick, it's stronger than you." So somehow or someone will force the other person to grab Joey's dick, and he like hulks out, and the person sells it like they're in pain, like "ow, ow," and then they do a front bump, which is a front flip, and acts like his penis suplexed him.
I remember you showing me this. Okay.
King of Dong style.
Joey Ryan's great.
You know, talking about shocking moments, because that's a pretty shocking thing. Do you remember back when Miss Elizabeth, Randy came out to wrestle, and she was with the enemy?
Yes.
Oh, and because
Yes.
well, that's the thing. Randy Macho Man Savage, it turns out, was fucking insane in real life.
Yeah.
When
And he was mean to Miss Elizabeth.
he was,
a lot.
he did you never heard this? And you might not know
And
this.
she's
I've
like
heard
the
it.
sweetest woman ever.
Yes.
She actually, when Randy was on the road, he would buy her like Hungry Man meals, so she wouldn't leave the house because he was afraid that she would cheat on him. Randy the Macho Man Savage is was fucking insane. God rest his soul. And I love him.
He was.
And I love the Macho Man, but he's fucking nuts.
But he actually legitimately hit her after a match one time.
Probably.
And they all ran out to stop him because he was convinced that she had cost him a match.
Yeah. Because I think that was right when he started doing the Macho King with Sensational Sherry.
And then she came
Sounds
out
about right.
with someone else.
Yeah.
He lost his ever-loving. Was it Hulk Hogan?
Yes,
Hulk
because
Hogan.
it was the Mega Powers. They
Yeah.
teamed up, and then Hogan or Savage accused Hogan of like.
And Hogan, like Miss Elizabeth too, you could tell he had a thing for her.
Well,
they all did.
Then we
She
find
was
out thing
Miss
about
Elizabeth.
then decades later we find out that Hogan's
thing for
into
his daughter.
Hogan's into wife swapping with Bubba the Love Sponge's wife. So you're like da 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 da.
Bow.
Yeah. But no, Randy Savage is fucking insane. I love Randy Savage, but he's insane.
Right?
There's been some shocking things, like when Mr. Wonderful switched to the Four Horsemen,
Oh yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
and Lex Luger turned on people and went to the dark side.
Oh,
Like,
I mean,
just terrible things.
wrestling is full of heel turns and
Which means you
baby face turns.
By the way, heel means bad guy. Babyface or face means good guy.
yes,
It mattered.
I understand, but so many heel turns, so many face turns in history, and it's phenomenal. I'm going to use AJ Styles' words a lot.
Yeah, because it's that moment because you get behind a wrestler, yeah, you're into it, and all of a sudden becomes a bad guy, and then your
Yeah.
entire like when Hulk Hogan. I still remember that after Hulk Hogan.
my God.
I still remember when Hulk Hogan joined the NWO. I had a coloring book for some reason, and I was old enough for some reason. I was watching wrestling and I had a coloring book. I don't know why the fucking. I had a coloring book with Hulk Hogan.
So 17.
Yeah, I was so pissed at the heel turn. I wrote Bulk Hogan on the fucking thing, colored it with black and white, and then threw it out. I was like, "What the fuck?" I
It was
raged at the
really
coloring book.
upsetting to kids. Like, I
it was
remember getting
upsetting to
legitimately
it was upsetting to adults. They're like,
Like,
They
what
were
are you
throwing
doing?
real garbage and beer into the
it
ring. And
was
for those
one
of you who
of-
bought stadium food, you know how expensive that beer and food is.
Yeah.
it,
I
it
think
was,
I was like 7 or 8 when Mr. Wonderful turned and went to the Four Horsemen.
That was back in the days of the good booking.
Yeah.
Yes.
The booker
Right.
is the person who decides the storyline and stuff like that.
Oh, I cried. It was so disappointing to me that he turned and he cost them the match. And
I think. Well, then there's the world's most famous what's called a double turn. One guy goes good guy, one guy goes bad guy. The most famous one was Stone Cold versus Bret Hart. The one where Stone Cold passes out from blood loss in the sharpshooter. That's the most well executed double turn in wrestling history because up until then, Bret Hart was like the Canadian hero, the good guy. He just made a man pass out from pain and bloodied him. And Stone Cold he was this bionic redneck badass. And then people were like, yeah. And then you're like Stone Cold, and then Stone Cold hated authority and just beat the shit out of Vince McMahon. You're like, yeah, I want to hit my boss. Like, fuck yeah. Like,
Stone Cold was the living embodiment of everyone that hated their boss.
but he got to
And-
hit his
and
boss.
He got to hit his boss. And,
So you're like,
and he
fuck
got
yeah.
paid for it.
Actually, Becky, there was a wrestling lawyer,
There was.
Erwin R. Shyster, IRS. He
I
was
love
the
that
tax.
His name is Shyster.
He was the tax man for the $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase.
I forgot about him.
Yep.
Yeah.
Becky, come here. Come in, come back.
Becky,
Becky, wake up.
over here.
Back in the locker room. Let's go.
She's gone to her sunken place.
Still not sold.
There's a dragon that wrestles.
There
Is it a legit dragon or somebody dressed as a dragon?
Is Ricky
second one.
Steamboat?
No, this is a guy dressed in a dragon costume.
Isn't his name like Piff?
No, it's Dragon, the only real dragon in
All I
professional
know,
wrestling.
Okay.
all I know about wrestling.
It's Chikara, which is
I'm
all
gonna-
cartoony.
Okay, never mind. Piff is
The
something.
America's Got Talent
Yeah.
magician guy.
Yeah.
all I know about wrestling is that A, Hulk Hogan made a shitty reality show.
Yes.
B, The
And-
Rock is actually a good actor sometimes.
Normally.
Yeah.
And C, Dragon Con.
Yes,
That's
because yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, the Dragon Con wrestling is amazing.
Oh, that's indie-rific. That's indie as hell.
I want to go.
By the way, I'm just gonna throw this out there. There's a wrestler by the name of Finn Balor,
Finn Balor. Finn
otherwise
Balor.
And you
known.
guys might remember it from Becky's Celtic mythology.
Yeah, because
Yes.
he's from Scotland or Ireland. I forget which.
He's from a land.
Anyway, his real name is Fergal Devitt. That's a fucking name, isn't it? I'm not naming my kid Fergal, but I would.
Fergal Devitt Licious.
Well, he went by Prince Devitt. Well, his thing was, for those of you who have seen Finn Balor, he dresses up in the body paint as the Demon. He brought that from the indies. He's dressed up as Venom, as the Joker, as Hannibal Lecter, to be led to the ring. He dressed up as Bane.
Oh, I saw a picture of a kid that Finn Balor retweeted. The kid was dressed up as Finn Balor's Joker.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
Yeah. Because that's the thing. Like, now that they're letting the wrestlers be real people, you kind of see, oh, wow, they can appreciate it. Like, and I guess this is what I've always thought. I've always thought about being a pro wrestler, and I'm just 30, so I'm 33 at this point, and I can't do it anymore because once you hit 35, you're just done.
Not you. I mean, not all the time.
Do I look like fucking Batista? Batista jumped in at 35. So did Diamond Dallas Page.
I know who
Bobby
Batista
Lashley.
is because he's Drax in
He's Drax,
Guardians
yeah.
of the Galaxy. Yay.
Go back to sleep, Becky.
Okay.
Well, she can't.
I
Because
forgot
I'm
about
worried.
Diamond Dallas Page.
Yeah, he was 45
MVP.
and the owner of a legitimate strip club. And the Godfather actually legitimately owns a strip club.
Okay, I'm down with it.
And his character was a pimp.
Yes.
Yep.
It wasn't originally a pimp though.
That was.
No. He
went through several gimmicks. He was the
Yeah.
MMA fighter. Mm-hmm. He was Papa Shango. For those of you who remember Papa Shango, that same guy later became the pimp, the Godfather.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Yeah, I do remember him.
I love when people change their gimmicks. It's great.
No, yeah, because Kevin Nash has been Oz, the Diamond. No, Hall was the Diamond Stud.
Yeah,
a gimmick change can either make you or break you in fucking this world.
It made Stone Cold because
he was the ringmaster.
and stunning Steve Austin and
Well, yeah.
everything. And then when he became Stone Cold Steve Austin,
Like, for those of you who remember, like I talked about ECW, the Sandman, it was a surfer gimmick. And then he just started smoking cigarettes and drinking beer on the way to the ring and hit people with Singapore cane. Seems to have ridden him pretty well and supplied a lot of drugs.
yes.
Because ECW's drug use is legendary and rampant.
Oh yeah.
It's fucking... Whew.
Well, can you imagine how much you hurt all the time?
Yeah, of course.
Being put through
Especially-
a table, getting
especially
hit
if
with
it's-
trash cans.
If it's ECW, yes.
Oh, ECW was.
It's the same
brutal.
with the NFL players, like Josh Gordon getting caught smoking pot. It's like, look at what
Let
they
'em.
put their bodies through.
Let them.
Exactly.
Fucking who cares?
Like,
Yeah.
Well, think about
the-
like
and
just
then
the
we're
fact that they use
and this is not
steroids on top
and
of
this
like
no,
having these-
well now they have a wellness program.
Well,
so they
I
can.
understand that,
Yeah.
but back
But
in
you
the day,
can't look
yeah.
at Lex Luger and not say he used to.
I remember
I
remember
mean, he had
I
the
remember a
flat
story.
nose and the.
I remember a story because I like to watch what's called shoot interviews on YouTube. A shoot interview is a wrestler talks real stuff like behind the scenes about what happened. I've seen a bit of them, and this one was Scott Hall. He was talking about one time they were sitting in the locker room and Warlord, who was a known steroid user, they used to fuck with him and say, dude, you're looking kind of like deflated. Your muscles aren't looking as big. He walked up to Shawn Michael with allegedly with a fucking syringe of like injectable human growth hormone. And he went to and he jammed the needle in Warlord's ass and went to press the plunger on this thing and it wouldn't go. And he pulled out a little bit, spurted back, and he goes, brother, I think you're full. Like, how much
my
fucking
God.
steroids or solid muscle mass do you have to be where the steroids won't go in you?
Yeah,
In fact, that almost took down Vince McMahon. There was a huge steroid trial.
Yep.
I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I guess if your entire gimmick is being these big, strong, muscly guys, and it's,
You got to keep it up. Yeah.
well, you got to keep it up, and your body's not naturally going to look like that without some sort of
Yeah, I mean, so if
resistance to
you
it.
look at superstar Billy Graham, who was one of the star witnesses in the steroid trial against Vince, I mean, he's developed the whole thing where like his bones are fusing together because of the steroid use.
Well, there was that weightlifting guy whose bicep exploded.
Yeah, I
I
mean,
can't
shit like
think of
that.
his name,
Well, he was
but-
injecting Proferol or some injectable oil.
I don't think it was Porphyro because that's what killed Michael Jackson, right?
No, but there's another thing he was injecting too, but I think it's something fall. Anyway,
Oh, okay.
Synthol is what it's called,
Oh,
I think. And you look at the guys who they say did steroids or had steroid issues. Yeah, I mean, and then you have people like Chris Benoit, who look, Chris Benoit as a wrestler. I don't give a shit. I mean, I give a shit what he did to his family. I'm
No,
not
he
getting
was
into
good.
that. Yeah.
He
No,
was
he
good.
He was an
one of the
amazing
greatest.
technical.
Oh,
if you appreciate techno wrestling, watch any Eddie Guerrero Chris Benoit match, any
Yeah.
Malenko Chris Benoit match,
Yes.
or the one they had what's called the Owen tribute match between Bret Hart and him.
You remember when he started wrestling, they had like 3 guys that they had brought in to see who would be the one to survive. It was him and like a a black guy. I don't remember his name. You remember when they first brought him?
I
in?
do. I think it was the Radicals because it was him, Perry
Yeah.
Saturn, who's not black,
And it was
just really
interesting
tan.
that he just wrestled as Chris Benoit because everybody else had.
Well, he went in Canada he was the Pegasus Kid. He was Tiger Mask in Japan for a while. But he came as Chris Benoit, and you look at him, and he wasn't a tall guy. He had really, like where Brock Lesnar has long gorilla-like long arms, Benoit had short, stubby arms.
He was like the boy next door.
Yeah, which with the crippler crossface really made sense.
Right?
But he was an amazing wrestler, and I'm sorry for everyone who believes in the Hall of Fame. I believe in the Wrestling Hall of Fame, the one that WWE puts on. You know, that's going to get me a little shit because not a lot of people do. But if all you know is WWE, if you don't know NWA, if you don't know Jim Crockett Promotions, if you don't know where it came from, and it's not the other Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame, which is I think the Cauliflower Ear Club that most wrestlers get into, or the PWI Hall of Fame. That's what you know. And Chris Benoit, because of what happened, will never be in the Hall of Fame, and he should be. And
he was a great wrestler, but just being
because of the situation.
You don't want to promote something like that. I can understand why.
He had been having problems for a while. He had been reporting that he was having memory loss and issues from the steroids that he had taken.
Yeah, and he was actually. It turns out he was so well known to the FBI and all that, and the FDA that he was known as a high volume steroid trafficker. But they all ever said that his steroids were for personal use. How many steroids are you taking if your personal use has you on an FDA list or whatever?
It's ridiculous.
I mean, and they said that when they did the necropsy or whatever on his brain, he had the brain of an 80-year-old Alzheimer's patient. I mean, but look at his flying headbutt. Look how many times he took a chair shot unprotected. Because Benoit was not one of these guys who would throw his hands up and like it. He took the chair. Now you can throw a chair shot if you throw it right at your hairline of the like where soccer players hit the ball. But that's still a steel folding chair, and shit happens. I hit my head too hard, and I have a bad day. But other people should be in the Hall of Fame and just won't be because of situations it's situated. China. For those of you who don't know her, do you need a minute, Angie?
Yeah, she was one of the greatest wrestlers,
male
or female.
She was a pioneer of women's wrestling.
Oh,
She was.
She took on men and women.
Yeah, she was a pioneer of women's wrestling, and I don't know what happened. I don't know if it's because Stephanie McMahon and Triple H, because they ran her out of the company because they fell in love or whatever. That's a popular conspiracy, is that they won't let her in because they're whatever.
She was a good poker player too.
Was
I
she?
used to watch
she
her
was,
play
yeah.
poker all the time. Yeah.
You know,
When
big
she got out of
tournaments?
wrestling, she would play professional poker.
And she was really good.
Yeah. I saw one thing,
really
but
sweet too. Like,
yeah, she was like, I've seen some stuff and like interviews where she's a really nice person, but then she fell into the drugs and stuff, and then she got into porn, which
I feel like, I mean, it's not.
and I'm not saying porn. I'm not shitting
Right.
I'm
on
not
porn.
shitting
I'm
on
just.
porn. It's just,
But
it was a
you
fall for her.
have yeah, because of what you were.
Well, I feel like, and I hate to say this because it sounds so like pretentious, but I feel like I feel like The Rock is probably going to be the exception more so of the rule. Like, wrestling is not going to be something that is always going to be taken seriously for you to become an actor or something to that effect.
Well,
and
see,
it's
The
easier
Rock,
for you if you have that kind of fall.
if you
to
have
get
a
in-
charisma like The Rock. Like,
Yeah.
no, The Rock.
like John Cena.
or John Cena.
John Cena. I'm sorry, John Cena will never be as popular as The Rock. I don't give a shit.
No,
what
and I don't
anyone
think-
is.
I understand.
Well, yeah, John
But-
Cena wouldn't be able to carry a movie like The Rock could. But my point is being like, if you have a fall or you move on, you're going to have a easier time probably getting into stuff like porn and that. I think just because of the label that you get already from wrestling as it is.
And they've said that the reason China won't be in is because the way WWE wants to do their Hall of Fame is if you randomly Google search somebody and know nothing about wrestling, what comes up? The first thing to type in is when you type in China WWE, might be a RedTube link, might be a YouPorn link, or Pornhub, and you don't want that to be a thing. Now, I will say, in the porn parodies I've seen her in, she made an incredible She-Hulk because she had the physique and, but they made sense. But I don't... Well, see, then on the other end of that spectrum, you also have Sunny, for those of you who remember Sunny, Tammy Lynn Sitch. She did a porn, and it's awful. It's bad. It's ugh. I can't even get hard to it. But anyway, that's
And
besides
he
the
gets
point.
hard to me.
Well, even in recent years, there's been the sex tape that was leaked of a male wrestler with 2 female wrestlers, and
I
the
don't
only
think I saw
ones
that one.
that was like all over.
Are you sure you're of the female wrestler with the 2 male wrestlers? You mean?
Mm-hmm.
You mean
Oh,
Paige,
Paige.
the one I
Oh,
fucked,
yeah,
the one I
yeah.
called you when we did the
Yeah,
Paige,
I mean, but
Xavier
the only
Woods,
one who
and-
suffered for it was her. Like, so,
No, and that's true because Brad Maddox was not with the company. They didn't do shit to Xavier Woods because he was a tag team champion at the time.
Yep.
And now she's been forced to retire because of a neck injury. And all people will remember. Well, no, it's a legit injury.
yeah.
No, it's legit.
And
Just
now-
remember her blowing him.
It was that, and somebody came on her face while she's holding a NXT championship belt to keep it from hitting the floor.
Yeah.
So she also like had someone jizz on a championship belt. So it's like,
A championship belt that gets passed around.
But here's the here's
love
the here's the thing. And I think it was Ryback who made the decision to me. And Ryback, don't worry about who Ryback is. He's an ex wrestler, and he's just
Feed me more.
yeah, he's the feed me more guy. He made a comment. He's like, look, guys, everybody in the WWE is an adult. It happens for those of them who aren't, and it happened in the 80s a lot too. What was called rats? You go to a town, someone wants to sleep with a wrestler. Wrestlers get groupies.
Yeah.
It's what happens.
Hell, Twitch streamers get groupies.
Exactly. And so you think about this.
We have groupies.
We do.
Yeah.
Yeah, Moreland's in the room with us, though.
I'm sorry, Moreland, that you don't have a groupie yet.
No, Moreland has a groupie. I didn't tell you
I
that.
got a t-shirt.
Moreland's got a groupie?
I
I didn't tell you?
No.
So, Moreland, hold on. I'll tell it after the episode. Or do you want to hear right now how you legit have a groupie?
I want to hear how Moreland has a groupie.
Wait.
Becky, you...
I'm down for whatever.
I'm legitimately curious now.
So I was at work, and I had the business cards for the podcast.
Uh-huh.
And I handed it to somebody. I shit you not, dude. I handed it to somebody. She's like, oh, you're that podcast. I was like, sweet. She goes, is Moreland really cute in real life? I'm like, what is going on?
No,
Wait-
no, no, no,
wait a
no, wait a
second.
minute, wait a 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 minute, wait a
Wait a
minute.
second. Wait a second.
What?
Go ahead, Becky.
What? Okay.
Bitch, did I stutter?
Did you have his back,
What?
though, Scoob? Did you have his back?
Oh, the first thing I told, she's like,
Wait, first off, somebody knew, she knew who our podcast was.
yeah,
It's just random person.
yeah.
You work with her.
No, she's a customer.
Oh.
And then she asked about Moreland.
Yeah.
And she asked about me.
Specifically this
Didn't-
motherfucker
he
right
didn't-
here.
She didn't like go, hey,
And
I know
and
there's
you're
people-
not, and you haven't told me this until now. How long ago did this happen?
3 weeks ago.
You motherfucker!
I thought I told you.
No!
Why do I think I told you? I thought I told you.
It's like Moreland thought he told us about Baby Carrot being back.
Yeah.
We didn't know.
Okay, wait. So
Hold on,
what-
there's more.
I'm waiting.
Oh, okay.
We're waiting. We want more.
Continue.
So you know how Becky's gonna hate this. You know how they fuck with about your vein?
It got you a groupie.
So yeah, I was fuck me. I was
I want to hear.
she was like
Look at Moreland. He's fangirling before
she was
he
like,
knows
so how long have you known him? I'm like, a while. So is the vein thing real? I'm like, you asked me if I've seen Moreland's dick.
Oh, so Moreland, your penis has a groupie, not you.
I don't care.
Oh, well, okay.
My penis is attached to me. It's fine.
He's so happy.
No, continue.
It's like he has hope.
Finish so I can.
Oh my!
What the fuck?
I found something worse than the Katie Vick angle.
Anyways,
So yeah, so you have a groupie.
is she cute?
She's like 5'3".
Okay, so good
That's
height.
not an answer. That's of height.
Uh-huh. She's a good height. I understand.
I've got her number for you.
You do?
It's in my wallet.
You!
I haven't seen you in 3 weeks.
I may kill Scoob, just to let everyone know.
You know why he's gonna kill me?
Why?
Because it's a heel turn. I was making it up.
I understand. I knew it.
I'm so disappointed. I
Are
was
you
so
really?
excited for Moreland and kind of terrified at the same time because you just said 5'3". That doesn't mean anything. That could just mean that.
No, it means something to him because she was short-ish.
I like short girls.
I know that, but she could have been a troll.
I think Moreland would fucking
Moreland's like, whatever.
Moreland would fuck a
Fit.
turducken at this point.
Actually, I think if Moreland did, I think if Moreland had groupies, I think he would just
I love you,
rail
buddy.
all of them.
But audience, that's an example of a heel turn. I was a good guy because I had Moreland's back.
You weren't a good guy. You waited 3 weeks. Supposedly.
Exactly.
I'm just also pointing out
Jerk
that
off.
we should have known it was fake because who actually knows our names in this podcast? Half the time when anybody mentions us, they're like, "Oh, you guys are that podcast?
Wait. Well,
Which
think,
ones are you?"
No, well, think about it. About what point did you know I was fucking with you?
I knew as soon as you said it.
Really?
Yes.
Why is it the girls bought it more than you did?
We were excited for.
Oh, I totally bought it.
Because
She did.
Because I know you.
What would you have done if I wasn't full of shit?
The only way the only way you could have proved that you weren't full of shit is actually pulling a number out of your wallet, and then I would have punched the shit out of you for waiting 3 weeks.
But would you punch me in the face?
No,
Okay.
just the arm.
He would have punched you
your
in
arm.
excitement.
Your arm would have been numb.
Fair. I would have no-sold the punch like thwap. I'm okay.
I'm good.
Were you just waiting this entire episode to do an example, like a
Of a heel
PowerPoint
turn?
presentation?
Yes.
What the fuck is wrong with you?
It had a beginning, and it built. There was a climax point, and then
At
the
Climax too.
I was about to say,
And then-
I didn't get to.
and then the end, and I've gotten what's called a heat, which means people don't like me because I fucked with Moreland.
Yeah, so did A Tale of Two Cities, but that doesn't mean that, like, yeah, never mind. That's
Tale
done.
of two titties.
Da-da-da-da-da. Ow, you fucking asshole! That's not a heel turn. Fucking strong style over here.
That's a purple nurple, is what that is.
Is it? That purple nurple was a little more invested. I want to find out the difference, so just don't.
Okay. I was
gonna
about to
say,
say,
are
I
you
could
questioning
show
You know what?
difference.
You know what? I want Moreland to have a real. You know what? Hey, wait a minute. This could work out well for you.
God's
Oh
sake.
Jesus!
This could work
Everybody
out.
else got one.
Moreland. This could work out well for you. You know those kids that do news reports and everybody skipped my birthday, and he gets birthday cards from wherever.
Oh, yeah, like how those, like, baseball players will show up to sit at the lunch table with a kid who's picked on. Now you're going to get some groupies.
Alexa Bliss could hear this podcast for some reason.
She's not gonna just stop.
If
it.
Alexa Bliss follows us, you have to suck my dick.
It's been put out in the universe?
Doesn't she already follows us on Twitter? Doesn't she? One of them follows us on Twitter.
Sasha Banks,
Sasha
Yes, it's Sasha Banks.
If Alexa Bliss follows us, you have to suck my
I
dick.
will have Kayla suck your dick.
No, you have to do it.
No, no, just no,
Scoop, why do you want him to suck your dick so
To
badly?
establish that I was right.
no.
Homosexuality and rightness are a thing.
Oh,
I'm down.
I guess we're always right.
I know. That's
Okay then.
And he wonders
No,
why I argue with
no,
him. Like,
fuck
Chicken
no.
shit.
Scoop, that is like
If it's not, if you know it's not going to happen, why not make the bet if you know it's not going to happen? For that 0.00001% chance that it happens?
Yeah, exactly.
I can actually.
that's too much of a risk.
The funny part is, like, I see Scoop has accepted the fate that it possibly will happen. Moreland has fear in his eyes. Like, Moreland has pure fear. Like, I feel
No, I'm a fucking
Alexa-
gambler. I don't give a shit.
Alexa Bliss, please don't follow us. If you do,
Please follow us, Alexa.
Please-
I
please
really
don't
honestly,
follow us
I
ever.
honestly thought about
Wait,
going on
you
Twitter
can't
and
do that because you're not
messaging
taking
her.
the bet because you're a bitch.
I can do that. I can tell her not to follow us. Whether I take the whether I take the bet or not.
Audience. Should Moreland take the bet? Let us know on our various social medias.
I can't
You know,
believe
Aaron. You know, Aaron's gonna be like, do it.
I can't believe that this is a conversation we're having right now.
I can't believe
In
you
public.
haven't stopped us
We're-
from derailing and you're encouraging this.
We're not. It's not happening. I'm not taking the bet. It's fine. So we don't worry about.
Call you the gobbledygooker because you're a big chicken, motherfucker. I swear to God, if Alexa Bliss somehow follows us tomorrow, I'll be like, aha, see?
I honestly thought about messaging
And I'm
her.
not sucking your dick.
I
Well, you
honestly
didn't take the
thought
bet because you're a
about.
coward.
There was no good ending on my end.
I didn't threaten your end. I threatened your mouth hole.
End, mouth hole. A bet has to.
I didn't say to completion.
A bet has to consist of
I
something
didn't-
good for both people, whether one thing happens or the other thing doesn't. That's not a
I
bet.
can't
It's
believe
good
I'm
for me
living-
that... Wait. It's good for me that I'm right, and it's good for you that Alexa Bliss follows us.
It's not good for him that he has to stick your penis in his mouth.
What do I get if she doesn't follow us ever?
You don't have to suck my dick. Like, that's the fucking out. Do you not pay
I
attention?
can't believe I'm living in the universe in which this is a conversation.
You don't have to worry about it. I'm going home.
This
You know what's
is
happening?
why
Becky is wrestling with this reality.
This is why I have highly suggested we have like topic structures. Because this
That
is what
doesn't work on
happens.
me. I can't be tamed. I'm like Miley Cyrus.
You're trying to get Moreland to suck your dick right now.
I gave up on it. Because he's not going to do it.
He'll come back.
I don't want him to suck. I don't want
Scoop
him.
sounds so he's not even gonna do it.
Look, no, let me...
You sound defeated.
Wait.
It's-
Let me be clear. I don't want him to suck my dick.
Did you just say, let me be queer?
No.
He did, yes.
I did now because Angie's going to edit it that way.
Well, at this,
Moreland's not going to do it, so it's not a big deal. But if she does follow us, I'm going to look at you and be like,
And you're still not going to get your dick sucked by me. So.
Fair enough.
I'm so glad we could be a funny and informative podcast to all of our listeners.
Shut up, Becky. Hey, audience, where can you find Becky in her sunken place?
That's how I feel right now about this episode.
That's where you've been this entire episode.
I mean, yeah, I think my eye has like twitched at least 17 times.
You know what I find?
That was in the last 15 minutes.
That's true.
By the way, so how big a fan are you of Corey Graves as an announcer, by the way? The answer is fuck you, you're wrong. I love Corey. Every Braun Strowman match I've ever seen him commentate on, he makes a fucking Pantera reference because it's Strowman's favorite band.
Well, there you go.
And you know how much I appreciate that.
Exactly. Him laughing at Titus O'Neil
Is it amazing?
was it was
Is it
fantastic.
funnier than him laughing his ass off at Apollo Crews going for the standing moonsault and Braun just kicking him 5 feet away?
Yes.
Is it?
Yes.
Damn it! Now I have to find this. I have to see this.
It's Jesus, is it hilarious? Because
So-
him, Michael Cole, and Byron Saxton are just,
You can't do anything about it.
They're all just
So
dying.
here we go. Angie, who was your favorite wrestler as a kid, or when you watched it a lot?
Randy Macho Man.
Savage,
Oh, I also liked Junkyard Dog.
JYD, yeah.
Yeah. But I would have to say Randy Macho Man and also Jake the Snake.
Moreland.
Goldberg.
Oh Jesus Christ!
Goldberg.
You mean Dadberg?
I don't care.
What about you, Scoop?
Freaking love Goldberg.
Fuck.
When you were a kid, not now. It's your childhood.
When everyone's gonna laugh.
Oh, also the Nitro Girls. I know they weren't wrestlers, but the Nitro Girls.
Yeah, but there was a
I remember when they first let them come out and dance, and
There
everybody
was a
like,
redhead. I died.
fire or yeah. My
Like,
favorite
when they first started, it was the biggest, funniest shit. They couldn't
Oh,
dance.
and one of my
They were all out of sync, but
because
half
they were
dressed.
all models.
It was great though. Not all of them were models.
Most
one,
of them.
One of them was
I
Diamond
thought
Dallas
that they
Page's
were the
wife.
Yeah,
Pussycat
Kimberly.
Dolls for the longest time. I'm like, oh, those are the
I think a couple of them were in the.
Yeah.
So here's the thing.
It was fantastic though.
Favorite wrestler when I was a kid, even to this day, The Undertaker.
I mean,
That's
it's,
not laughable. That's
No, I can't.
It's the Undertaker.
You don't understand. Like,
It's the Undertaker. He's
okay,
Yeah.
literally-
we've told.
I liked
the
I liked
Phenom.
Andre the Giant.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Have you
like
seen
that.
the HBO documentary about him?
No, I haven't.
You need to see it. It's
Okay.
really good.
It is.
Apparently, legend has it he pleasured 5 women at once at the Playboy Mansion using just his hand. But at that size, it's probably dick fingers built galore.
Exactly.
Yeah, no kidding,
right?
yeah.
Fuck.
It's on HBO. It needs to be watched.
I mean, okay, I'm picturing it, and it's kind of hot because the women had to have been in close proximity.
I mean, your hand only goes.
Exactly.
I mean, his hand probably went
I don't know-
a lot
That's booty
further.
touch.
I don't know
apart.
what Becky's face is.
She's picturing it.
No.
She's picturing it.
No, I'm not.
In my mind, you're picturing it
she's-
and liking it.
She's picturing shooting herself in the face.
By the way, okay, so Becky's favorite wrestler, Kenny Omega,
Who?
Kenny
the weebie
Omega.
guy.
The weeboo guy.
No, it has to be from when she was a kid.
Kenny Omega.
I don't
Yeah, no. hold
No,
on, let's
I
see.
didn't watch wrestling.
Okay, it was Sting. Let's just call it Sting.
No.
Surfer
hold
Sting
on.
or Crow Sting?
Crow Sting.
Crow
Crow
Sting.
Sting.
Crow Sting, of course. But I was more thinking Disco Inferno.
Disco Inferno, the man who legitimately in a booking meeting pitched the idea of the evil architect, Bill Ding. That's not a joke. He really pitched it. Bill Ding, the evil architect.
That's funny.
Is it?
No, it is.
Is it?
It is.
Uh,
I appreciate that.
Also, on the lines of favorite wrestlers.
Yeah, favorite wrestler of the last 10 years. I don't know if you're going to be jumping in on this
I was
one
about to
because I
say
don't know how much you've
last-
watched in the last 10 years.
Last 10 years.
Is The Rock considered last 10 years?
Yeah. I'd say
Weirdly enough, yeah.
Yeah, because he keeps coming back and it's The Rock. So
I mean, he's pretty good. Last 10 years?
Oh yeah.
I mean, Daniel Bryan.
Yeah, the yes movement.
Yeah.
I would say CM Punk because I
See,
love me some CM Punk.
I missed most of the CM Punk era. So
You only need to watch it from like when he does the pipe bomb promo forward.
yeah,
That's all you need to worry about
yeah, I know.
because he didn't give a shit about that. And then
I went back and I've watched
I've got that
lot of
CM Punk
everything.
documentary they put out right after he won. Right after he wrestled Daniel Bryan for the first time in WWE, and it was like on a shitty pay per view no one cared about. And it's like it's Daniel fucking Bryan versus CM fucking Punk. Why does no one not care about this?
Right?
You know what, Becky, Jake the Snake, you would have liked him. He had a bag he carried that had a real snake in
Damien,
Ooh,
the
no.
boa,
Doink.
Doink
Yeah.
the clown.
Doink the clown. I think that would have been her favorite.
it.
No, there
Probably.
was a real wrestler. Doink
But
the
he
clown.
would put his snake on people, and they would just lay there like, "Holy shit!"
That's also a
a
felony.
snake.
If you actually watch old,
Not
No,
really.
he legit
remember
would
old
do
school,
that.
remember old school Raw where they did all the WWF rings and stuff, and he
Yes.
came back because had just gotten sober.
Yes.
And it's CM Punk, Badass Billy Gunn, and the Road Dogg versus the Shield. And Jake the Snake comes out and puts the snake on Dean Ambrose. You can see Dean Ambrose smile. No, you can legit see Dean Ambrose like smile because it's like, holy fuck, this is Jake Snake Roberts.
It's literally he's having a nostalgia moment, and then he's like,
then
ah,
it's
shit, a
like-
snake. But it's
No, he's not. Oh shit, a
I mean,
snake. He's like, oh my
an
god.
enormous snake.
Well, no,
it-
no. You
That's
look
what
at
she said.
But I wanted to
it's a
pet
python. So
No,
It. I
Jake-
wanted to pet it.
Jake Roberts had
That's
It's
that,
not going to
said.
bite you.
That-
and they've said
that's
this. that
something you will never hear Angie mention again.
I want to pet the giant snake.
petting the man snake.
Yeah.
You have Jake the Snake Robert had a great mind for wrestling with the storytelling and the psychology.
Oh, yes,
And
he did.
I think Dean Ambrose is one of those people who's like he loved Jake Snake Roberts because it inspired him to be a wrestler. You ask a wrestler now, like I said in the last 10 years, of who inspired him, and you're gonna hear you Jake the Snake Roberts, your
Yeah,
Hulk
Ricky
Hogan,
the Dragon
your Rick of the
Steamboat.
Dragon Steamboat, your fucking
I mean,
Junkyard
depending
dog.
depending on how old they are, like
Yeah, exactly.
like Bailey,
Lita.
Lita,
Bailey's hero is Lita,
Lita
from the Attitude Era. Yeah.
Lita, and Matt and Jeff Hardy
Yeah.
by extension.
You know what? I bet if we watched wrestling with Becky, I don't care how much you don't like it.
WWE has
I
WWE has a subscription service where you can watch anything they have the tape
I don't
library
need the
of.
facts in your logic.
But you didn't want to hear the part that I know will actually entertain you. Other than
No,
that,
I heard it. You're gonna watch it all day. His WWE.
yeah,
and
well,
everything.
do you know what the WWE Network is? They have their own subscription service. You can watch anything they have the tape library of. So you can watch old
Oh.
Junkyard Dog matches and
Wow,
NWA and
that's
Jim
actually
Crockett.
really good.
And it's
yeah.
$10 a month, or they raised the price.
$10 a month.
$10 a month. You can stream it through your Xbox.
Full access to the library.
Yeah, and
That's-
they have
that's
their own
nice.
special
You-
shows.
You-
They
you can
have
go back and
pay
watch-
per
You
views
can go
Yeah.
back and watch literally every single pay per view
that they've ever done, or that they have the tape library rights to.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you can watch wrestling from when you were 7 and 8 years old now.
Can't you do that on YouTube?
Yeah, but there's no content copyright
Oh,
shutdown.
I gotcha.
Yeah.
Because guess what happens after pay-per-view? Everyone floods it with this just happened 5 minutes later, and it's shitty quality, and then 10 seconds later, copyright strike, kill the channel.
Oh, I gotcha.
Take it down. Take it down. Take it down.
So for those Becky, you're familiar enough with wrestling to have actual theme music.
Yeah.
So you know how it works.
Uh-huh. I've watched the intros of people entering.
Okay, that's exactly what we're talking about.
My dad watched wrestling when I was little, but it just wasn't.
Becky. Well, no, should we go to Becky last, since she's the most not knowing of wrestling?
No, that's why she would go for it first.
Yeah.
Becky, I
Gotta
need
go
you to
first.
pick your wrestling name.
My wrestling name?
Your
Yes.
wrestling name. You can use your own. That is a thing now.
Okay.
Or you can be like Bashin' Becky or whatever.
Okay.
Your entrance theme song.
Okay.
And if for those of us for the advanced credit, the maneuver you use to finish people, known as a finisher.
Well,
Okay.
actually, they're just called signature moves now, not finishers. Because
Yeah, no, because everyone kicks out of them.
exactly.
For an example of a finisher, the Stone Cold Stunner, the Rock Bottom, the thing you would use to end the match.
Okay, I got it. Okay.
I'm afraid where this is going to go.
Go.
Go ahead.
My name would be. Hold on. Durka Durka.
Uh-huh.
Would not get through the copyright. Go ahead.
I don't care.
This
This is my
you would,
life.
You wouldn't be the first Arab character that got buried.
got that right.
Muhammad
Funny
Hassan, Jandavari.
My song would be Attack on Titan theme song.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, because that's. And my signature move would be called the Suicide Bomb. because I take both of us out.
So it's a swanton bomb, and she's in a fucking the
And you
headdress.
just hope to land on top.
Right.
To do the count out.
No,
Okay, how do you perform said suicide bomb?
I just get a bomb and bomb 'em.
You have to use your real body
No,
back.
it wouldn't be a swanton bomb. It'd just be the back body drop like Tozawa does.
Oh, you mean the as homicide called the Gringo
And
Killer?
as she lands, she farts.
I mean,
Sure,
After you've eaten a milkshake without lactate.
Now I just shit myself.
In them.
that happens in the ring. Several wrestlers have shit themselves in
Yeah.
the ring. Like there was one MMA fighter that did it.
So what I would do is I would get up on the ring corner. What is it called?
The top rope.
Top rope.
What's the ring corner called? Top rope.
Okay, whatever it's
I
called.
always say to her, I'm going to come off the top rope. And Becky's
That's
like,
what that
"What?"
means.
I'm gonna get up. I'm gonna have a vest on. I'm gonna rip it open. I'm going ah, and then land
She's
on them.
flashing. She's flashing tits.
No, I'm not
Are
actually
you gonna?
flashing
So
my
you're gonna
tits.
jump on them?
Yeah,
Do you land with your back on them or your belly with the vest?
with the vest.
So it's a frog splash.
She's gonna do a frog splash.
It's a shitty frog splash, but she does the vest open.
It's the
That's
suicide
subjective.
frog
I've got a problem with your signature move.
What?
No frogging.
Oh, okay,
It's just
I got
called
it.
that because you're supposed to put your.
Exactly.
You're supposed to mimic
I
the
picture it-
hop.
Stop it. Scoob, that's the thing that's scary about frogs. It's the
Hey.
hopping.
It's basically you just extend your body at your
Uh-huh.
And then
at the peak
you
of
do
your
a
jump.
full body crunch and expand out,
Okay,
Yeah.
listeners, I really wish you could have just seen the two of them doing this.
sitting down.
Moreland was in a Superman pose and Scoob was bouncing up and down like... like
Well, we're trying to explain the frog splash the
Pretty
best we
funny.
can.
You know what?
Yeah.
Just type in Rob Van Dam 5-star frog splash. That's what you're looking
I
for.
will not, because it's a frog splash.
It's called
Okay.
the anyway.
It's called the frog splash. It's
but there's no actual
leak.
frogs are used or shown.
That's fine.
Angie,
Okay. I'm gonna
No,
take...
I'm gonna go now.
No. I'm gonna take my D&D character's name, and I'm gonna be Pernicious Meowsifer.
I choked on my water.
I'm good with this.
Yes.
The
And,
choking on the water, not your name.
and I'm gonna come out to... I'm not sure about the theme song yet.
The Meow Mix theme song.
Isn't there something about...
Meow 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 meow
That's
meow meow
perfect.
meow meow meow.
What the
meow,
heavy
meow,
metal
meow,
version?
meow,
Heavy.
meow,
I got
meow,
you.
meow, meow.
Meow 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 meow.
I like
It's
it.
the screeching guitar with a cat
I
squeal.
like it.
Yes.
I like it. And my signature move, which should be pretty obvious, the struggle snuggle.
It's literally just the.
It's gonna be like
no, you know what it
leg
is?
lock.
The Braun Strowman's old submission where he traps the head and arm and he just squeezes them,
And you just
Yes.
snuggle them. Snuggle to
or a bear hug.
Or-
And you
yeah, or
just like
a giant bear
purr
hug.
and like
And I'm
pet.
purring and like rubbing my scent on them,
Oh my god!
which
I
could
could
be
see.
vagina or cheek. We don't know.
I could see Angie doing it. Well, they're a PG company now, so you can't do much. Moreland, I don't know where you and I are gonna go because you and I either think the same or we're getting weird.
So I'm gonna go.
Imagine you're
I'm-
not you. You can actually
No,
do
no,
a
no,
450 if you choose to do a
No,
450.
I'm gonna go with I'm gonna go with my fake one, the one that I made when I was a kid, because
You remember this?
yes, I do. I don't. Remember,
You have no idea how many times.
I don't remember the name, but I do remember. I don't remember the name, but I do remember the motif. I was a vampire motif.
So the
Basically.
Brood.
Yeah, basically, and
Shout out to Gangrel.
right. And
Shout
Edge,
out to White Wolf Publishing.
and Edge and Christian before they
Yeah,
because they were part of the Brood, and the
some of the Hardys.
and the finishing maneuver was called the nail in the coffin. So
That was Vampiros.
I know I don't care.
Was it the
That's still
Impaler
pretty cool.
DDT?
No,
Or the other one.
what would be your music? Oh, from
I don't remember.
Concrete Blonde. What's the
Are you going to use the Brood music?
But that was the one I made up as a kid, and it was similar to Goldberg's Jackhammer.
Oh, so it's like but instead of going to the side, did you just plant their head down in some like a suplex pile drivery kind of thing?
Yes,
So it's what Brian Cage calls his drill claw in TNA.
sure. We'll go with
Okay,
that.
it was called Bloodletting. I was like, it can't possibly be called Bloodletting.
It's called bloodletting.
Okay, sure.
So-
but that's the one I made up when I was a kid. That's the one I made up when I was like 9.
Oh, you were only 9. I was like 15, 16. This was when it was legitimately
Super-
a thought.
I made up that gimmick before I knew of Gangrel because I was only watching WCW because my TV didn't get WWF.
You were watching some wrestling.
Right? I was.
Wrestling.
Oh yeah, in the South it was wrestling.
Yep.
It's always been
And you
wrestling.
gathered in everybody together, kids on the floor, wrestling's coming on.
Exactly.
You,
Well,
I would.
I was the only one that watched it in my family. Nobody else wanted to watch it. Of course,
Shinsuke.
I grew up with two girls, two sisters.
Which
so,
you just headbutted, so.
They weren't into any of it, so I'm like, whatever. I got to be into the crap you're into.
I
but
would,
you keep being into the
yeah,
crap
that's
I'm
not,
into.
don't you know that the fucking equality is not a thing at that point?
But yeah, that's the one I made up when I was 10,
I,
10, 12, something like that. 9, 10,
so when I was, and you're how old again, Moreland?
30.
So you're old enough. Around in the 90s, right when the Attitude Era was switching over, they started putting out CDs of the wrestlers' entrance musics. Have you ever had any of those?
No.
I still have them.
You suck.
I can let you burn them.
I was about to say, I don't have anything to burn them on, but anyways, I also wasn't old enough to buy stuff, so.
Oh, I wasn't old enough to buy it. my uncle was.
No one.
My uncle would literally keep me out of school to watch pay-per-views.
I didn't have anybody like that.
You poor bastard.
Literally, the only person in my family that likes wrestling
It's you.
is me.
Oh. So this was when I was like 15, 16. This is when they had that. My friends would wrestle on trampoline like, oh, I'm The Rock. I'm Stone Cold. But I started listening to heavy metal around that time. So I was like 13, 14 actually. And I was like, okay, I'm going to make up my own character. This is when the D&D sickness kind of kicked in before I realized it was D&D. I never really came up with a name because my whole gimmick was it would have no name. I would just show up, fuck up some shit, and then leave. So I didn't really plan this well at all.
Of course not.
So I'll be like, Redacted is my name.
Oh my god. Okay.
My finisher, because this is previous to it having any kind of racist undertone, was called the Iron Cross. You remember the Razor's Edge?
Yes.
Where you pick the opponent up over your head, straighten out your arms, so they're in a cross crucifix position, and you throw them.
The person's on your back. They're facing backwards. Their arm.
No, they're facing up.
Your arms are under their armpits, and your arms are stretched out, and so their arms are stretched out too.
Mm-hmm.
Because your arms are under their armpit, holding them up.
Okay.
It was the Iron Cross, and what you did is you razor's edged them. But if you could do it right, you would razor's edge. Actually, it started as the razor's edge. You go to pop them, and as soon as they got far enough, you went into a powerbomb position, and you just jerked them straight down to a powerbomb.
So a razor edge powerbomb.
Essentially, yeah. I think it's actually got something called. I think there's a name for something like that, but it was literally this that. As soon as their butt went right over your head, you just go for the powerbomb because your arm's already up.
Yeah. Okay. I can see it. I never really liked the razor's edge. It never looked like it really hurt that much. So.
You'd be surprised. But this is also because, I was always the older one, so and I've always been big, so it's not like who's going to wrestle me.
3.
Hey, Becky!
Oh.
Hey, Becky.
Where can they find us?
Where can they find us, brother? You mother! Why didn't you just let me have it? Why didn't you let me have it?
Why not?
Oh, I'm still a host on this podcast.
You are.
You can find us on Facebook at The Free Rotation Podcast. You can also find us on Twitter at The Free Rotation. We're also on Instagram at The Free Rotation Podcast. You can find us on Twitch and YouTube streaming and uploading
And we're
silly
on
videos.
Spotify, right, Becky?
Every time, Angie. The Free Rotation. We are on The Free Rotation. You can find us on Spotify, Google Play, Stitcher, Apple Podcasts, wherever you listen. Just go find us there. And we are also affiliates of Weeby Geeks, great podcasting network with other great geeky-looking podcasts. They have wrestling podcasts there, too.
They do?
Yeah, they do.
That's cool.
I actually didn't know that.
Well,
I know you've said it, but I don't listen to you during
yeah,
this part.
but... yeah, that's it, guys.
All right.
Look.
Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
And remember, don't trust anybody.
Accept yourself. Believe.
Free Rotation Podcast.
Okay.
right?
But don't cut me aggressively trying to get
You
Marlon to
just said
suck my.
Bacart. Bacart.
I did because he's
Maybe
making
no, yeah.
selectively cut around it, like the fat.